What's up, my peeps? What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up, man? We got a lot to talk about. Well, kinda. This live won't be too long, but it's still a lot to cover in a short period of time. Give me some ones in the chat if you can hear me, so we can go ahead and hop right into this. Ones in the chat if you can hear me. What's up? What's up? All right, dope, bet. I'm gonna be honest with you all. Hit the like button. Hit the like button on your way in, if you don't mind. I am officially looking at this Charlie Kirk situation as a movie, a script. Now I know we've been referring to this. A lot of this stuff is like a script and a psyop, but more specifically, what I'm saying is after I show you all some of this stuff, it's like it's almost too obvious at this point. It's just too obvious. Some of this stuff, many of you all have probably already heard the news about the GAG order that has officially come down, but there may be a couple of things that you have not heard about yet. Yeah, snake eyes. But I'm saying like it just seems almost it's laughable at this point. What they're doing is laughable. Because I went through so many stages since this situation first took place. And one of the things that I used to think was they needed a distraction because Donald Trump, he disappointed so many people in his base when he came to the Jeffrey Epstein thing. So many people was turning on him and they were like, man, what are you doing? And so not only did they need a distraction, they needed a real distraction, something that was going to stick. This kind of sticked, Check this out. Let's get us a background here. Okay. So it says here, Charlie Kirk's accused assassin Tyler Robinson case gag order is unprecedented in Utah. Over 3,000 witnesses, quote unquote, associates of the case, attorneys, family members, and even the press are subject to the order, threatened with potential contempt of court. Now, how is this even legal? How is this legal? How you 3,000 witnesses, quote unquote, associates of the case, attorneys, family members, people who aren't even, how is someone going to be held contempt of court if they're not even liable to be in court? How are they going to be held contempt of court if they're not in court? Threatened by the courts. What in the world is going on here? This is what I'm saying, man. Like, it's like, do y'all think we stupid, or do y'all know that we're not stupid, and y'all want us to react this way so that it can just cause more division? Like, what's your real purpose here? Because this is insanity, right? Let's go to the news clip, because when you go to the news clip, it gets even crazier. Everybody hit the like button. Hit the like button on your way in. Let's run this up. Hit the like button if you do not mind, please. Let's go to the news clip. I want you all to take a listen to something. Listen to this.
The hearing was brief, but some interesting things did happen, including one issue that could impact thousands of people here in Utah.
Good morning. Court is now in session.
Tyler Robinson was not present for the hearing. Instead, he listened in from the Utah County Jail. Lawyers focused on upcoming issues like evidence from the crime scene.
There is a substantial amount of discovery in this case, Your Honor. It's voluminous, to say the least.
His lawyers entered their formal appearance and declined to waive his right to a preliminary hearing. Judge Tony Graff has issued a gag order preventing anyone associated with the case from talking about it.
What in the world? They're issuing a gag order from anybody associated to. How is this legal in Utah or anywhere else? Now, many people have been saying that this probably explains why we haven't heard from the 3,000 students that were in attendance at this Charlie Kirk event that day. But I'm gonna tell you all why that's total garbage and why there's still something else going on here. I don't want to say that what we saw with our eyes that the day never happened. I'm not willing to go that far, but I want y'all to just follow me here. 3,000 students witnessed this. Not every student present was a Charlie Kirk fan. Not every student present was a conservative. Some of them can be mutually exclusive. That being, they can be a conservative, but not a Charlie Kirk fan. Right? Some people was there to support Charlie Kirk. Regardless of where you fall in that category, guess what the likelihood is? You're probably going to share the clip of whatever you got that day. You're getting to see Charlie Kirk for the first time or the second time or the third time. You're going to film. If 3,000 students were present, why haven't we seen, I don't know, 300? Why haven't we seen just 300 videos? Why haven't we seen 30 videos of first, second, and third row students? Why? I want you all to take a listen to what they said because they think they slick. But I'm going to put y'all on to something. Many of y'all have probably caught this already. But let's take another listen to what they just said here. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Listen to what they said here.
Amount of discovery in this case, Your Honor.
Hold on.
Upcoming issues like evidence from the crime scene.
There is a substantial amount of discovery in this case, Your Honor. It's voluminous to say
the least. Yes, there's a substantial amount of evidence in this case, Your Honor, that suggests the fact that the narrative that y'all are giving us is total BS. And the entire public knows it. But keep listening. I want you all to catch something because they think they slick.
the least.
His lawyers entered their formal appearance and declined to waive his right to a preliminary hearing.
Now remember, Tyler Robinson's attorneys here, for those of you that don't remember, his attorneys were selected by this judge right here, which is essentially the prosecution. People don't think about it that way, but that is how it works. Yes, there is a prosecution team, so to speak, but when you have a public defender, part of the selection process that goes into that is the judge. I'm going to tell you why that's not only unethical, generally speaking, regardless of where you are, but I'm going to tell you why that's especially unethical in this case.
Tony Graff has issued a GAG order preventing anyone associated with the case from talking about it.
What?
It's to avoid pretrial publicity, already a big problem in a case with massive media exposure involving a high-profile figure like Charlie Kirk, but the judge wants to ensure a fairer trial for Robinson. It's also brought up a big issue involving thousands of people.
We're seeking some clarification with respect to the phrase all witnesses, Your Honor. There are a number of witnesses that have yet to be identified that will likely be used in the state's case. This occurred in front of 2,000 to 3,000 students at Utah Valley University. So we're in the process of identifying those witnesses. And so those individuals are presently unknown right now.
The court
Bro, these people think we are idiots. Let me break down to you all what he just said. Your Honor, at this present time, there was at least 2,000 to 3,000 students present that day. So as of right now, all of the witnesses are unknown. I'm going to tell you all why that's a huge problem. But before I tell you that, let me remind many of you that may not know this. I've worked in courtrooms before. I've worked in, I've been in many congressional hearings before. Let me tell you how some of this stuff works. Sure, there's a prosecution and there's a defense. Yeah, they're opposing, they're going at each other. Some of those people are friends with each other. That's just the facts of it. Some of those people have dinner with each other. They have lunch with each other. Not only that, even if you're not friends, you are required by law, and depending on the states, it varies, and there's discrepancies depending on the state. But you have to reveal the amount of evidence that you have, a certain amount of the evidence that you have before trial starts, so that the person has a quote-unquote fair trial. Why is this important? because it's not only just the prosecutor or the defense that communicates and have dinner and stuff with each other. Sometimes it's even the judge. What am I getting at here? This statement that you just heard from the defense or the prosecution, I believe this is the defense that's speaking. I can guarantee you, everything I say in this video is alleged. I can guarantee you this is not the judge's first time hearing this, because they have to, what do you call it? Let me pull up the chat. I can almost guarantee you that this is something that the judge has already had. They have huddles before they host court a lot of times. That's a fact. So then they'll come out in front of the public and then they'll present these things as if it's each party's first time hearing this. No, they already know what they're going to say. That's a fact. That's not even a conspiracy theory. That happens all over the country, bro. So this judge, I can guarantee you already knew that the prosecution or the defense was going to say this. Now, I want you to take a listen to what the judge is about to say. And that's before we even dive into the judge's background. Listen to what the judge is about to say. They just told him, listen, judge, there's 2,000 to 3,000 witnesses that were there that day. So we don't even know who all the witnesses are. I'm going to tell you why that's very dangerous and they're being slick. But let's first take a listen to what the judge says.
Students at Utah Valley University. So we're in the process of identifying those witnesses. And so those individuals are presently unknown right now.
The court will rule that as the witnesses become known to each side, that information is conveyed to abide by this order. Obviously, there are potentially many witnesses, and so it's not the expectation that you would be able to do that up front, but as they become known.
The judge made it clear he...
Hold on. Let's go back. Did y'all, because they think they're slick. Let's listen to what this judge just said.
Individuals are presently unknown right now.
The court will rule that as the witnesses become known to each side, that information is conveyed to abide by this order.
To abide by this order. You all, for those of you that have not caught on yet, they issued a gag order for witnesses. Remember at the very beginning, I read this. It says right here, Charlie Kirk's accused assassin Tyler Robinson case gag order is unprecedented in Utah. Over 3,000 witnesses. But the judge and the defense just admitted what? They don't even know who all the witnesses are. But the judge just said, despite them even not knowing who all the witnesses are, people still have to abide by this as they discover the witnesses. What in the world? What in the world?
Obviously, there are potentially many witnesses, and so it's not the expectation that you would be able to do that up front, but as they become known.
The judge made it clear he wants to ensure Robinson's constitutional rights will be protected, as well as the rights of the victim.
Also, regardless of who is watching, whether it is the nation or a single individual, we must fulfill our roles with integrity, civility, and diligence. I encourage each of you to give your very best to this case. Neither Mr. Robinson nor the people of Utah deserve anything less than the fair and impartial administration of justice.
Okay, hold on. I'm not saying that this is an anomaly. I'm not saying it never happens. But based on all the other things that we've already saw in this case, let me tell you what strikes me as extremely strange, especially when you consider the other things I'm about to share with you about this judge. Why is the judge reading this? What do I mean by that? If you hear from the defense and the defense tells you there's 2,000 to 3,000 witnesses that we are not fully aware of who all they are, because all of them were not students, we've already covered that. How come your response is reading from some sort of document? Why don't you just give an organic response to that? Let's go back. He's reading from a script here. That's weird to me. I know that judges do this sometimes in some cases, but I'm going to tell you later on why this is even more weird once we learn more about this judge.
Nation or a single individual.
He's reading.
We must fulfill our roles with integrity, civility, and diligence.
Huh?
I encourage each of you to give your very best to this case. Neither Mr. Robinson nor the people of
He's
Utah
reading.
deserve anything less than the fair and impartial administration of justice.
Man, listen to me. This is sketchy. Sketchy is not even the word. This judge gives me the heebie-jeebies. It's not that we're trying to find things wrong with this. It's just that if it's there, it's there. This judge gives me the heebie-jeebies, bro. And then when you come to find out, remember when we were talking about everybody seeing new? The Utah FBI director knew. The previous one was offered a demotion by FBI Director Kash Patel. When they did not accept that demotion, they were fired. And a person directly from DC, you know, one of the two locations where they found out Google searches were being made on Tyler Robinson, on the medical examiner, on the name of the building that Tyler Robinson was on. It was DC and that one foreign nation where Google searches were found to be searching these people's names the day before everything happened. The person asking Charlie Kirk the question was the son of the person working for Jimmy Kimmel. Of course, that's not a coincidence. Jimmy Kimmel, who works inside of a Freemason lodge, by the way, one of his bosses. The person responsible for holding the microphone wasn't even a student and also wasn't a Turning Point USA member. Of course, that's not a coincidence. Why is everybody new? The head of the hospital was new in their role. The medical examiner was new in her role. Guess who else was new? This guy. This guy. Did you know that the judge right here is 56 days into his new role as the judge in this Utah case? Let me show it to you. So this is the judge, right? This is him. Let's see what it says down here. It says, the case involving conservative political influencer Charlie Kirk has already generated a massive amount of media attention and even comments from President Trump, who viewed Kirk as a friend. In his own remarks, Judge Graff, who was sworn in just 56 days ago, pledged to protect the constitutional rights of Robinson and the rights of the victim. Y'all, what in the world? The judge was hired not even 2 months ago. The judge in this case was hired not even 2 months ago. And I want you to consider that. Now re-listen to what he just said.
Of Utah.
Listen to this.
But as they become,
and keep in mind that he's reading from a script. He's not even giving an organic response. Right?
information is conveyed to abide. The court will rule that as the witnesses become known to each side, that information is conveyed to abide by this order. Obviously, there are potentially many witnesses, and so it's not the expectation that you would be able to do that up front, but as they become known.
The judge made it clear he wants to ensure Robinson's constitutional rights will be protected, as well as the rights of the victim.
Also, regardless of who is watching, whether it is the nation or a single individual, we must fulfill our roles with integrity.
He's reading.
Civility and diligence. I encourage each of you to give your very best to this case. Neither Mr. Robinson nor the people of Utah deserve anything less than the fair and impartial administration of justice.
Any comment? Outside court, lawyers declined to comment. Any comment?
Not today. Not today. Thanks, though.
Robinson will be back here in court in person for another hearing on October 30th. In Provo, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
I want to remind everybody that Utah is well over 60% Latter-day Saints. We've already proven on this channel multiple times that I won't waste my time doing in this video again, that Mormonism is literally founded in Freemasonry. The principles of Freemasonry and those of Mormonism are one and the same. So much, in fact, that the founder, Joseph Smith, of Mormonism was an open Freemason. Many of the leaders in Mormonism is and was and has been Freemasons. Freemasonry is something we've talked about many times over the years on this channel, that is undeniable. I have too much research. I have too many videos on it. It's undeniable. What does that say? And not only that, it's proven that the CIA targets Jesuit Catholics and Mormons because their devout devotion to their faith. That's all public information. As I always say, fact check everything I say on this channel. We'll be covering the history of Freemasonry tomorrow on live. Kelvin will be coming back onto the channel, and we will be doing a deep dive on the occult, on Freemasonry, and its ties to Hollywood and the music industry and politics. I want you all to keep that in mind as we cover this case. There's something else I want to show you. Because Candace Owens has stated, don't worry about the gag order in the Charlie Kirk case. I plan to violate it on the world's behalf. The things I've discovered this past week are enough to burn the house down. Yes, Charlie was betrayed by everyone. By everyone. Hey, I don't know. I'm not the brightest all the time, but the last time I checked, everyone means everyone. If there was an exception, I would like to think that she would have said that. He was betrayed by everyone. So his life truly was the Truman Show? Is that what I'm hearing? Betrayed by what? TPUSA? Betrayed by his donors? Betrayed by his quote-unquote friends? What about President Trump? His security detail? His TPUSA students? Who all are we talking about here? Right? And when I first read this, I was like, that's crazy. But then when I went and read the quote right here, I said, Candace, it says over 3,000 witnesses, associates of the case, attorneys, family members, and even the press are subject to the order. Candace Owens, that don't include you. Why are you talking like you're doing something for the world? You're just the general public, just like we are. We're allowed to talk about it. But then I thought about it. I had to backtrack. Candace is absolutely right. It does include Candace. Celeste, yes, it does include Candace. I'm going to tell you how. Remember when I was just telling you all, listen to the language that they're using. What did they say in this video?
Latest court hearing.
Watch this.
From talking about it. It's to a figure like Charlie Kirk.
Watch this.
Involving thousands.
Honor that would likely be used in the state's case. This occurred in front of 2,000 to 3,000 students at Utah Valley University. So we're in the process of identifying those witnesses. And so those individuals are presently unknown right now.
The court will rule that as the witnesses become known to each side, that information is conveyed to abide by this order.
As the witnesses become known, this is to be conveyed to them to abide by this order. But at this current moment, they're stating that they don't know who the witnesses are. Listen to what this says. It says, quote-unquote, associates of the case. That's extremely vague. And that's on purpose. That's intentional. This is so that they can associate. Candace Owens was friends with Charlie Kirk. Candace Owens was on the payroll of TPUSA just last year. 100% this applies to Candace Owens. So I take back my original perspective. Right? But let's read a little bit more about this because I found some more interesting information. Check this out, y'all. It says, whistleblower alert. Utah's, actually, let me stop. Before we get to that, I want to show you all another one. That's not what I want to show you first. Let me show you. Shocking cover-up. Utah judges in Kirk's assassination trial dropped secret gag order to silence witnesses. But wait, this foreign nation's IP hits on them months before the hit. Judge swap smells like a setup. So already what this is stating is that the judge swap that happened 56 days ago, not even 2 months, smells like a setup. But it's also stating, remember when I was talking about the Google search, where it was showing that someone in this foreign nation, in that one foreign nation, and someone in DC was searching the name Tyler Robinson. They were searching the name of the building that Tyler Robinson was allegedly on. They were searching the name of the medical examiner, right? Well, guess who else they were searching? The judge, Tony Graff. What the heck? They're saying that there were IP hits on Tony Graff's name months before this. It says in the Tyler Robinson trial for Kirk's September 10 UVU Powin, Judge Tony Graff, now presiding, and his predecessor, Robert Lunnan, were hit with unique Google searches from foreign IP addresses. Lunnan on May 15th, Graff on July 26th, before the Powin. 0 Utah-based searches on either until after Kirk's Powin. Coincidence or foreign intel scouting the bench? Lunnan, quote-unquote, retires August 1st. Graff slides in August 4th. The exact day SLC FBI boss Matab Syed gets yanked. Timing's a red flag parade. Let me repeat that. The same day that Director Kash Patel switched out the Utah FBI director, Matab Syed, was the same exact day this new judge was hired or brought in. But here's the kicker. On October 16th, this is a typo, on October 16th, 2025, Graff drops an unprecedented gag order on his own motion. No request from prosecution or defense. So I'm going to say this again. This came directly from the judge, you all. The judge that hasn't even been in his role for 2 months yet made a decision that the defense or the prosecution wasn't even asking for. It muzzles all witnesses, future lawyers, staff, even non-case attorneys in their firms, binds lawyers to police witnesses' mouths, imputes blame for extrajudicial chatter, routine in high-profile cases. Sure, but this one's a sledgehammer on First Amendment rights, tainting jury pools as pretext while burying truth. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. I'm game to sue if there's a deep pocket patriot who wants to foot the bill for an attorney. I volunteer to challenge and torch this order. Who's in? Tag Candace Owens, Fox News, Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk. This gag order must be rescinded now. What in the world? What in the world? And if you and listen, here's something else that's also interesting too. This right here is super interesting too. Whistleblower alert: Utah's secret social media censorship plot to bury Charlie Kirk's pow-powing. Utah power players are slipping through a sneaky social media bill. SB 194 HB 464 revisions fast-tracked into 2025 session under the radar, framed as quote-unquote kid safety, but designed to let officials and suspects wipe out any online talk of pow-pow investigations. We're talking total control, censor posts, deleting threads, shadow ban truth seekers, exposing the web of corruption tied to Charlie Kirk's brutal hit in September. What in the world? They're calling this bill a kill switch. So there's a bill that they're trying to pass called SB 194 HB 464 revisions that is being fast-tracked for the 2025 session, but they're titling it or they're framing it as quote-unquote kid safety, that they're saying is a masquerading for trying to control the narrative around the Charlie Kirk pow-powing. Let's listen to what the governor had to say here.
This is not good for us. It is not good to consume. Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage people to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. We have seen an escalation in violence that has been happening across the country. We've had periods like this in our past history. I've mentioned before in the late 60s and early 70s, certainly we saw these types of high-profile political assassinations, another dark time in our history. And I can't emphasize enough the damage that social media and the internet is doing to all of us. The conflict entrepreneurs are taking advantage of us, and we are losing our agency, and we have to take that back. We have to turn it off. We have to get back to community, caring about our neighbors, the things that make American great, serving each other, bettering ourselves, exercising, sleeping, all of those things that this takes away from us.
Well, Governor, you referred to social media as a cancer on Friday. That's an incredibly strong word. Do you believe that social media played a direct role in this assassination?
I believe that social media has played a direct role in every single assassination and assassination attempt that we have seen over the last 5-6 years. There is no question in my mind that cancer probably isn't a strong enough word. And we're doing everything in Utah, first state in the nation a couple years ago to pass comprehensive reform. Sadly, these most powerful companies on earth are suing us to prevent us from implementing these things.
Now, listen, I will agree with him that social media can be a cancer. And I believe social media has drastically changed our way of life in the world in many ways for the worse. I do agree with that. But however, trying to censor what people can say to a certain extent, I don't agree with that. Or censoring what people are allowed to see as it pertains to adults, right? If people have an opinion about Charlie Kirk and what happened to him, then I do believe they should be able to ask questions. I disagree, but I also want you all to note, because some of these people are what do you call it? Wolves in sheep clothing. This guy right here, yes, it says that Utah is, I guess, a red state, but make no mistake that Governor Cox here, who I believe has the same middle name as Tyler. I believe his middle name is Matthew, and I believe there's one other person that has the middle name Matthew. I don't know if it's Cash Patel, it's somebody else. 3 people has the same middle name. Tyler Matthew Robinson, I believe, is Governor Matthew Cox. Governor something Matthew Cox, and then there's another person with the middle name Matthew that's high profile in this case. But this is the same guy that supports biological males going into biological females' bathrooms, and he also supports biological males competing against biological females. So, yeah, this guy isn't all the way there, in my opinion. But remember when I was talking about how This judge
Yes,
right
there
here
are.
is, look at him, he's reading. Yes, I don't think it's absolutely sinister in its own right to be reading from a script. No, I do not. Yes, I understand that other judges have done it in cases, but I think it's extremely suspicious when someone tells you what they're proposing and then you read back to them a script. How about you just respond to them organically? Why are you reading a script? And it sounds like chat. It just doesn't. All of this feels like they're acting to me. All of it feels like acting to me. All of it. And speaking of reading from a script, let me show you all this. Do y'all know who this guy is? Hit the like button, everybody. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Does anybody know who this guy right here is? And if you have never seen this video, yes, Phil Lyman. And many of you may have seen this already. Absolutely. Hey, yo, this is one of the most creepiest videos that you'll ever see from this case. Watch this.
Outside the student life alone, so.
I see what happened.
How are you?
Did you see what happened, Phil?
No.
What the heck?
You were there too.
Oh yeah, it's interesting because I was there. I was a witness to everything that happened. I was talking to Charlie just before he took the stage, and I was in very, very close proximity.
I see what happened.
How are you?
Did you see what happened, Phil?
No.
What? Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm looking at Satan in flesh. Yo, that is creepy. Hold up. Look at that face. That reminds me almost of Erika Kirk. Why is he laughing? You just witnessed the biggest pow-powing, political pow-powing, arguably since what, JFK? Your first reaction is to tell them, no, you did not see what happened, and then you start laughing like this.
No.
And then he followed up right after this and told Alex Jones that not only did he see what happened, which is a direct contradiction from what he just said, but he said he saw everything that happened. Take a listen. I know the audio is a little bit low, but please listen. Please hit the like button, everybody. Please hit the like button if you don't mind.
We are outside the student life alone, so.
Listen closely.
I see what happened.
How are you?
Did you see what happened, Phil?
No.
What the world?
You were there too.
Oh yeah, it's interesting because I was there. I was a witness to everything that happened. I was talking to Charlie just before he took the stage, and I was in very, very close proximity.
I see what happened.
How are you?
Did you see what happened, Phil?
No.
What?
No.
What?
Charlie was a friend of mine. No. We know one thing: Charlie Kirk died.
What did he go out his way to say? We know one thing: Charlie Kirk passed away. It's like they want us to believe that. They want to make sure that we understand that part. It does not get more sloppy than this.
I was pretty.
What is he doing? Why did he start excessively licking his lip? I feel like he knew he messed up. I really feel like he knew he messed up here. Who excessively licks their lips like this in silence? After you just smiled after when someone said, did you see what happened? These people are playing roles. I want you to keep in mind that Phil Lyman is a convicted felon. Phil Lyman is a part of a family that owns a lot of the property, including the doorbell ring where we saw the alleged person they're saying was Tyler Robinson that's since been debunked. That was Phil Lyman's family. Not to mention, that was Phil Lyman's family's property. Of course, that's not a coincidence. But I'm also going to say this. For those of you that don't know, Phil Lyman has a nephew. His nephew, who is someone that Candace Owens was working closely with, I don't even know if she knows this. Phil Lyman's nephew actually was working with Tyler Robinson's mother. Did you all know that? Phil Lyman has a nephew who has been speaking on this case, by the way, who, to my knowledge, is not a student. Maybe he is. He works at the same place as Tyler, or he was working at the same place as Tyler Robinson's mother. Bro, what's really going on here?
I was pretty.
Why you look at his lips like that?
It's ironic, Alex. This happens to be the 12th year anniversary of my indictment.
Crazy. And I also, before we go to the next clip, I want to debunk something. I know it's a photo going around. I don't want to say other YouTubers' names all the time, but there's another YouTuber who claimed and made a video stating that Phil Lyman used to work with Erika Kirk in the Romanian Angels. And there's a photo of what's supposed to be Phil Lyman in a photo with Erika Kirk. And I want to come out and say that I do not believe that is Phil Lyman. And I believe that photo has since been debunked. I do not believe that Phil Lyman worked with the Romanian Angels organization. I do want to state that for the record. I do not believe that is a real photo, because that photo is supposed to be from 2012. And look how much older Phil Lyman is. The man looks creepy, bro. So he didn't look that young 15 years ago. But remember when I said that this judge was reading from a script, which he clearly is. Look at him. He's reading from a script. Let me show you all something else. Speaking of reading from a script, check this out.
I saw Charlie Kirk get shot. 1, 2, 3. I saw Charlie Kirk get shot. He collapsed in his seat. He fell over to the side. He was carried off.
What is he doing?
He had blood on his arms. He had blood on his shirt. He was dragged off and carried out of the venue. There was a gunshot that rang out. You okay? No.
Phil Lyman is standing there almost like how a handler would stand there. Right? He's standing there almost how a handler would stand next to someone trying to watch to make sure that they say the right things. Why is he standing his phone while this kid is speaking? Now, remember, this is the same kid that was bullied on camera by the other guy, I believe his name is Scott, who was responsible for holding the microphone, who wasn't even a student, who wasn't even a Turning Point USA member. He was a volunteer that day. That volunteer came and bullied this kid right here. And it's since come out that people believe that this kid right here is also an actor. What in the world is going on, bro?
1, 2, 3. I saw Charlie Kirk get shot. 1, 2, 3. I saw Charlie Kirk get shot. He collapsed in his seat. He fell over to the side. He was carried off. He had blood on his arms. He had blood on his shirt. He was dragged off and carried out of the venue. There was a gunshot that rang out. You okay? No, I'm not okay. I saw someone get shot today. Yeah. I saw Charlie Kirk get shot. He collapsed in his seat. He fell over to the side. He was carried off. He had blood on his arms. He had blood on his shirt. He was dragged off and carried out of the venue. There was a gunshot that rang out.
You okay?
No, I'm not okay. I saw someone get shot today.
Yeah.
This is absolute crazy. And this is crazy. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you all heard about this. So in conjunction with this gag order, it is also being reported. Wait till y'all hear this. It is also being reported that Miss Erika Kirk herself has sent a gag order. I believe this is the correct direction. She sent a gag order to Tyler Robinson to prevent Tyler Robinson from ever reaching or being able to reach out to her, because allegedly Tyler Robinson was trying to contact Erika Kirk. Now, some people would say it makes sense why of the person that's being alleged to have pow-powed her husband, why she wouldn't want to speak to this person. I'm going to tell you why this is crazy, though. Remember, Erika Kirk, first and foremost, if you really want to find out what happened to your husband, shouldn't you want to speak to him? They're alleging that he confessed. Don't you want to see what he has to say yourself? Right? But not only that, don't you want to get rid of any conspiracies out there? But here's the biggest problem that I have. Erika Kirk, at the quote-unquote memorial, she came out onto the stage and she said, "I forgive him." I think we all remember that. She came out and she said that, "I forgive him." Well, Miss Erika Kirk, and I'm respectfully, if you forgive him, why would you not at least give him the opportunity to speak to you if he wants to? Why would you file a restraining order, or why would you place a gag order on this person? Maybe the more appropriate term is restraining order. Why would you do that? You know? It's just a bit odd to me, you know? Wendy 4K, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Holly Coulter, thank you so much for the $5 super chat or super sticker. Appreciate that. Momo 1992. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Wide awake to the same old script. This is wild to me, you know. It's wild. And it almost comes off to me, this case here is coming off as a way of saying, listen, we understand that you, that being the internet, has found so many red flags. We don't care. We have the guy that we want. We don't care if the evidence suggests otherwise. We don't care if our evidence does not make any sense. We don't care if you all have already proven that. We have the guy that we want. We have the narrative that we want. We're sticking with it. Deal with it. And if you have anything to say about it, we're going to make laws to make it to where it's illegal for you to do so. And there will be consequences if you speak out against what we saw. Why would you prevent 2,000 to 3,000 students from speaking about what they saw? But even if there's a gag order, here's why, once again, this is a problem. We still should have saw way more videos than what we've seen. Why have we not seen more videos? Right? I feel like no one can explain that to me. I've probably seen maybe 10 videos. And that might be a stretch. We should have seen at least 150, 300 videos by now. Right? I thought about this. More than likely, everyone's videos were jammed. I considered this. I definitely considered this. I'm like, I wonder if there's some sort of technology where they can freeze everyone's phones. But I also feel like someone would have came out and said this already. Someone would have came out and said, man, right before everything happened, it froze on us. You know? Why can these people give gag orders and regular Joe can't? Only the guilty give exactly. And not only that, but it's a judge that's only been in their position for 56 days. Like, where did you come? Let's look that up. Let's see where this guy came from. Share screen. Let's see where this guy came from. His name is Judge Graff. Let's see. Let's see. Where did Judge Graff come from before Utah? I also wonder what his ethnicity is. With a last name like Graff, because I believe it's German. I believe his last name is German, has German roots. Before becoming a Utah judge, Tony F. Graff Jr. held various legal positions in different locations, including Davis County and Utah County, where he prosecuted abuse cases and led the Special Victims Unit. His prior experience also includes roles as Deputy District Attorney in Salt Lake City, Nevada, and Assistant Attorney General in American Samoa, and a Special Assistant U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C. What year was he in Washington, D.C.? What year did Judge Graff serve in D.C.? According to several news reports, he served as special assistant in D.C. at some point, being appointed. And the exact years of his service are not specified. Interesting. Who is this guy? Because I don't trust him. He was appointed, of course, by Governor Spencer Cox. Not suspicious at all. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, these people, bro, are, yeah, crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So, yeah, they're sending out gag orders. They're trying to shut everybody up now. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Hit the like button if y'all don't mind. If you're new to the channel, I would recommend you go and check out my Clive Davis documentary that I dropped a couple of days ago. You will not be disappointed, right? Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. You can find it in the description so that I can have a way to connect with you all outside of just YouTube. Heck yeah. Yeah, Shauna, I agree, man. It's exciting for sure. Let's see. The guy who stood on the chair and took down the camera right after the shot went off. Did you see footage of him running and hiding in the corner filming? Yes. You must be new to the channel, Maddie. Maddie Ice 2025. Yes, we've covered that in extensive fashion. But yes, I'm very aware of the guy. Very suspicious. And it wasn't only him. It was like 5 other people that ran to certain positions and they filmed in certain directions. Since you're new to this channel, you don't know my position. which is probably unpopular. I do not believe that Charlie Kirk lost his life that day. That's my position. Everything I say is alleged. These are just my views. I believe that he's still alive. That's my belief. Yep. I'm going to respond to a couple more comments and I'm going to go ahead and log off. I absolutely know you can freeze phones. I can go into the AT&T app and freeze any or all the phones on my account. So you know they can. When you say freeze, are you just talking about the account itself or are you talking about the screen? I'm saying freeze the phone screen. If you can do that from your AT&T app, that's crazy. That's crazy. Danny, I appreciate it. Big time. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm putting Clive Davis documentary up there with the Martin Luther King documentary. For sure. For sure, ski. I'll try to remember to include the links in the description. For sure. What's a gag order? Gag order means that you are legally bound from speaking on whatever the gag order says that you can't speak on. And in this case, it means that you are not allowed to speak about what you saw that day because they're arguing that it can hinder the investigation because it's such high profile that because the jury has not been selected yet, but it's too late for that. This case has went viral. It's everywhere. So that's not going to help anything. All right. It does. This judge got a law degree in May 2025. I don't think he got his degree in May 2025. I think that's when, but then again, let me go back and read that actually. Holly, you might be on to something. Let's go and see. What did it say? Let's see. Not there. So it must have been in the AI. He held legal positions in different locations, including Davis County, Utah County, where he prosecuted abuse cases and led the Special Victims Unit. Where did we read the May thing? Yeah, that been on here then. Maybe I misunderstood. John Lincoln. He served, I don't know. Oh, Judge Tony was appointed to the 4th District Court in May 2025 by Governor Spencer Cox. I don't know how I overlooked the first sentence. Yeah, but he was appointed to the 4th District Court in May 2025. He was already practicing law well before that point. That's what I took from it. Heck yeah. For the people who say Charlie Kirk isn't pow-powed, don't think he could have made up that Dakota kid posturing. I feel you on that. I'm with you. But it's all the other information that we've covered on this channel already. Where's the red liquid, bro? You know? Why don't we have proof that he actually went to the hospital? Why was the young Turning Point USA members? Like, I'm totally convinced that the security detail was, I want to be careful with my language because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't trust them. I'll put it that way. But the young members were also acting weird. There was a young African-American girl. She was filming in a completely different direction. You had a white girl with a red MAGA cap right beside Charlie when it happened. It happened. She didn't even act weird. Right? They look no older than 24, 25. You want me to believe that the young people were in on it? For somebody to be, I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. That's all I'm saying. Thank you for being new to the channel, man, and support. For sure. Glad to have you here. All right, y'all. I'm going to hop up off of here. Just wanted to bring this information to you. As always, hop in the comment section and let me know what you think once the video ends, because all comments from all live comments will be deleted after the live ends. Appreciate you all support. Shout out to Lanice for becoming a member, for sure. Means a lot. Hit the like button one more time for me. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Go and check out my Clive Davis documentary. If you like deep dives, it's incredible. And until next time, my name's Demetrius. I go by Didi. Until next time, peace.